What's going on, everybody? It's episode 156. Truth will set you free. The man, the myth, the legend, Casey Rasmussen and Anthony Russo. We're hanging out with you tonight. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit all the different buttons, heart buttons, hit the I hate you buttons. I really don't care what you hit. We're going to talk about focusing back on America. America first. Apparently, we've got a house that just can't get their ish together. We're talking about that on this episode. And one of the originals, the OG topics, we're going to talk a little bit about the jibbity jabberoonie, the Smaxiganation. We're going to talk about how some doctors are still holding on to things from 2021, and they're still called doctors. With that said, again, please like this, share this. We'll do a little intros. Casey will talk about what's going on. Casey, you had credit fraud on you this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, yesterday I woke up and did my normal morning routine, got into work, here at my desk for work, and then my phone rang, and someone got a hold of my debit card number somehow.
I believe as though that's pronounced debut. Oh no, different.
What?
No,
okay.
Struggling. I wonder, are you going to check? So this is the first time we've aired this live on Rumble. I usually play it afterwards. Do you want to check to see if it's working real quick?
I don't think it is.
It is not. Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. Some sources, it has to go through nerd stuff, go through one server to get to Rumble. That one server is working, Rumble's not working. So I'm looking.
Got it. Right okay. Well, for the people that are waiting at Rumble, hopefully you'll make your way back over to, because we did actually have a little queue. So we're just testing things out. Want to make sure people have time to get over here. I do, before we get into all the media, the news, and all that stuff. All right. I'm seeing some of the comments. Having issues sharing. Welcome to the wonderful world of our social media. We do have low numbers right now. So again, hit the like button, hit share, just comment, tell me where y'all are from. I'm assuming there's a little algorithm issue. Guys, do me a favor. So now I can officially, I had my marketing call with my publisher today. So my book release, I know people have asked about it. Like, when's the book going to be out here? So here's actually the book. I do have copies in hand. However, the book is not for sale until till April of 2024. So the book release is April 2nd of 2024. If people are like, how can I help? How do I get a copy? Here's the deal. I'm going to put this on the bottom of the screen. If you pre-order, don't do it from Amazon. Pre-order the book from Barnes & Noble or a bookstore. I mean, preferably Barnes & Noble, because then I'll get into the bookstores on top of it. Amazon, I'll do something for later, I'll probably do an ebook special or whatever so that I could get on the bestseller list, but it's huge if I can get into Barnes & Noble. So if you want to do me this favor, I have something special so you can get the book now as well. So I have a bunch of copies to send out. So here is the, first off, here's the link to Barnes & Noble, and then I'm going to send out signed copies if you do something for me. So here it is. Bam. It's that's how you actually find it on Barnes & Noble. And I'll tell you what the book is about as well, but you can save this. And then for the banners, if you guys send another, it's whatever, the book's, I think, $18.95. If you send me another $10 on Venmo or Cash App to BetheChange or cash symbol BetheChange USA, and email it to me. The email will be coming back up through this. Email it specifically to email copy receipt, doubledownstrategy@gmail.com with your address and the receipts. I'll send a signed copy, and I'll send that in the next week or two. So that'll be before the release, because the release again is April. So you're essentially pre-ordering. That's it. The Art of Doubling Down. It's all about overcoming failure. Talk about my father's gambling addiction, and then talk about how I turn that into a positive, how I live my life. Risk-taking, overcoming failure, etc. So all the people that were wondering, when I've posted and said, well, it's coming, the information is this. You can pre-order it, preferably pre-order on Barnes & Noble. And if you want a signed copy, it's only just $10. Essentially, that's covering shipping and me getting out of the house. So again, that's how you do it. That'll be on the bottom of the screen for a little bit. Anything else you want to tell? Dawn, yes, I love it. Me.
Yes,
anybody else? All the instructions on that are on the bottom. Anybody, what else you got going on, Casey? Anything else?
We're live on Rumble.
We're live on Rumble.
How
do I? So I can't tell how many people are watching on Rumble on this.
Here, I'll throw it in the private chat, but I'm gonna also throw it in the chat for everybody else.
Nice. Okay. So if anybody wants to watch on Rumble, again, you're gonna have. Oh, look at that. There we are. Oh, it's gonna be hearing us both. That's cool. There we go. Look at that. Neat, nifty. We're trying to automate everything. And there's, as we talk about before we get into the show topics, there is a plan for maybe sometime next year taking the Rocky and Russo show, taking the Truth Will Set You Free. When Cash comes back, by the way, if you're not following Cash yet on Instagram, it is Cash Kelly. What is it? Help me.
Cashley Kelly, the Cashley
The
Kelly.
Cash Lee Kelly. That's going to be his official once he's allowed to have social media. It's the Cash Lee Kelly on Instagram. Make sure you are following that. No new news, no updates, but I do have I have 2 emails with a whole bunch of stuff from him that I'm going to start posting and leaking out there. Cindy, you say 14 weeks. What is that for? Is that regarding Cash? I don't think we don't exactly have a release date on Cash yet. I mean,
But if you go by what Cash is thinking, first week of January, we're
yeah,
like
January or February. So yeah, that's what we got. So we might be working on something where March or April, that the Truth Will Set You Free might become a overriding platform for his shows. We're talking to a couple other people as well, so we'll get into that later. Anyways, let's go ahead and kick the tires like the stars. You know what I'm trying to say?
Speech is hard.
Fumble Rooski. It's season 3, episode 156. The Truth Will Set You Free. We're talking really about what's going on in the House, talking about focusing on the United States of America, America first. I've got some beef with MedPage USA. I always do. We're going to talk a little bit about how there's still doctors holding true, holding tightly to the fact that the vaccine is the end-all, be-all, save-all of life, which is absolutely embarrassing and disgusting. As you can see, I've got the Truth Will Set You Free shirt on. We've got Big Government Sucks on Casey. We're both rocking the Awake Not Woke hats. If you want to support us by doing that, go to awakenotwokestore.com. Use Awake for 15% off. I'll probably, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll probably include the book on there as a signed copy. But it won't be the $18 on the back. It'll probably be more like 30 or 35. Again, I need the Barnes and Noble sales. So do me a solid. Do that first and follow that. And that's on the bottom. We'll get into our sponsors later in the show. We had some purchases from Dr. Artist. We'll get into that later though. All right, let's talk about government. And again, we'll look at comments. We do all show. We'll see what you guys have. Well, let's just start right here. What will Cash? That is what it will be. The Cash Lee Kelly. The Cash Lee Kelly. Why did the empty suit Schumer have to come to Buffalo to tell his technology course we paid for his ride? I don't know. All right, let's go. Casey, you were paying attention to the vote today, what was going on in the Republican chambers. So let's first talk about status, and then we'll talk about why this is such an issue, why this is such a big deal.
Yeah, so when it comes to what went on today, it's just showing the entirety of the uniparty that I am so against. I absolutely, and most of you already know, I hate the Republican Party from the government stance. I understand why people will say they are Republican or conservative. I get it, but I can't stand them from the government standpoint. Democratic Party, I will never get it. I just won't. But when it comes to this whole situation, the GOP voted and supported what's his face, Tom Emmer from Minnesota. And then he backed out because after that, the flack of everybody on the internet and everybody around pushed him out and he dropped out. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to go through this mess.
So it was, from what I heard, Tom Emmer was kind of a, and I hate to use the word rhino because I was listening to some stuff earlier, and it's like, in all technical standards, I'm a rhino too, because I don't believe in necessarily the old school. I think rhino, we toss it around in a weird way. Rhino a name only, but at the same time, I think the modern Republican wave is very different than the previous. And I think so it's a different,
Yes.
but what was the issues with Tom Emmer?
I'm not quite as familiar with him other than I know he's not fitting in the new direction of the Republican Party. So I consider him part of the old group of where everybody's the uniparty.
Yeah.
And so when I look at that, and that's where the term rhino has to stop. We have to stop saying that because who cares? If you're going to say you're Republican, you're part of the problem because you are saying your standards are stuck here. You don't have an open mind to adjust or compromise or be able to
Right.
come to a negotiation as we used to do in government.
Yeah.
We used to be able to compromise and come up, but now it's extreme far one way or an extreme another.
Right. And
We have to
Denise, I
stop
like
with
the
that.
word globalist. I don't, so it's like,
Yes.
it's interesting to me when Trump is calling somebody a rhino, because based on the old Republican Party, Trump would be considered a rhino. Like it's like
Yes.
Romney, we call a rhino, but in all reality, Romney is a true kind of old establishment Republican. And he's also fully and utterly bent over by the Democrat Party. But regardless, it still fits it. By the way, Lincoln Project is saying the last true Republican left, and they're showing Mitt Romney. I'm like, that's actually accurate, but that's not a good thing, you dipshits.
No, that's horrible.
It's a horrible thing.
That is horrible. Terrible.
So who's in there? Who is up for the vote now? What is it looking like? Because I didn't even follow. I'm giving up right now.
There's so many still being thrown out. In my opinion, Byron Donalds is still the leader. I don't want Byron Donalds.
Why not?
I think he's good. I want someone with balls in the house, and I want Chip Roy.
You want Chip? I agree. I like Chip, but I like Jim Jordan. I like that, but I don't think they're going to get the votes because we're learning about the Republican Party and who is too stuck. They know that these people are the ones that are going to force the hand to mess with Biden, to mess with the FBI, to mess with the establishment, to actually send out the January 6th tapes. They can't afford that. The true establishment Republicans can't afford it either. I think Byron. I always get it wrong. Byron Donald, Byron Daniels, Byron Donalds. I think he is a potential Trojan horse for us on our side, because I think he will get that stuff done. I think he's been very strong. I think he's somebody that they're like, I think we can push him around just enough. But I think when he gets in there, he might have he's the only one that I think has the chance to actually get the job done and get in there, because I don't think the other ones like Chip Roy and Jim Jordan, they're not going to get in.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just my stance is I want someone with a voice that has no problem sharing it. Byron Donalds does that, but I also see a lot of hesitation in him. I don't see that in Chip Roy, and I don't see that in Jim Jordan. Both of them, it's just coming out no matter how they feel. It is in your face.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I want in a speaker.
They said Jim Jordan's biggest flaw was the reason why Jim Jordan can't get in is he rules with an iron fist. That's actually a really good trait when you're looking at something like that. And they're like, well, he didn't do any, he actually had no bills attached to his name. Well, that's actually a lie. He worked on many bills and he helped them pass, but he never was the initiator. That's not necessarily a bad thing. The initiator of the bill, the one that writes the bill, typically is beholden to somebody. I hate it to say that, but that's the way our government works. So having somebody that is literally just there to help move legislation and be a voice, that's a perfect spot for the damn speaker.
And by the way, that is also a sign of a leader that builds people up around them and not necessarily themselves. No. Like that is where our country is failing. Like if you follow Andy Frisella and you hear what he talks about in politics, we miss leaders in our society today. And every time a leader comes up, we drop and we fall. The only one that I think was a solid leader that got into office and did something decent is Trump. I don't think he is a leader that I really expected. I wanted a little bit more, but he did a lot better job than many others. A lot better job.
Who are you talking about?
Trump.
Oh yeah. So Jerry's comment. I believe conservative supporters compared to Republicans are very different. Republican politicians are currently Dems. Don't disagree. The conservative party is supporters who believe in MAGA. And honestly, I've said this for a while. It depends how you look at MAGA. And I know that you like wince when you see that. To me, MAGA is the new Republican Party. And I'm not talking about Trump. If the leftists that come on and hate me, they're like, I knew it, you Trumpsters, son of. MAGA this is what Trump created. He created a new faction of the Republican Party that I include many people in. Not Mike Pence, not Krispy Kreme, but Vivek, DeSantis. I consider them part of the MAGA faction of the party. And I agree with you. Believe in America. Matt Gaetz, although Matt Gaetz I think Matt just has started to like the sound of his own voice a little too much.
Gates?
What's that?
Is it Gaetz or Gates?
Who cares? He's the chubby rich kid that turned out to end up being this politician. But I don't mind it. So I know you're upset about Gates, because I do think it's such typical political fodder for the left. The fact that we're not getting anything done, with everything going on in the world with Israel. And meanwhile, Joe Biden's trying to slip in $100 billion to Israel and Ukraine. I've almost forgot the name of it. So did the media. They haven't mentioned it in 2 weeks.
So did all of America.
It's all Israel. But they're trying to send all this stuff over. And I just saw Stevie just sent, he bought his book. So thank you, Steve. I'm seeing some things come through. Appreciate that. Can't wait to send you a signed copy. But yeah, so like you said, there's so many things we need to be doing right now. And it sucks because I agree with fighting for the actual position of Speaker of the House, because I think it's important. But this is perfect for the Democrats to use against the Republicans for the next year, along with everything else they get to use from a marketing standpoint of they can't get their stuff together, and this affects the American people.
No, but that is a very ignorant stance. Very ignorant stance. And that is where it's important to talk about leadership and how we actually have to make decisions in our government. Making decisions in our government doesn't mean you get in line with your party. It means you're doing right by your constituents and the Constitution of the United States of America, not just because you align with your party. Now, that is what needs to be talked about, and no one is doing it. Literally, no one.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, get in line with your party. No, that is not what it is about. If you wanted to get in line with your party, everybody should have got in line with Jim Jordan, because I have never seen as many people back somebody for speaker as I did for Jim Jordan. I haven't seen a single time. Paul Ryan, you got Nancy Pelosi, you got all of these others that have been in the past. I have not seen the support for a speaker like I did for Jim Jordan, and they still couldn't do it. And it was mostly your uni-party Republicans. That was why it didn't work.
So where are we at? Where do we go right now in the House?
So GOP still has to put up a nominee for Republican Party, because they put one up and then he withdrew quickly after. And so they have to go back through and revote again. And I think it's going to be toss and turn. Probably we might exceed 15 rounds like last time. We might go more.
Well, I mean, we're going to go back and forth between people. Do you think Jim Jordan still has a chance? Do you think he gets back into it, or no?
I think after doing this for a few rounds, people are going to realize, crap, we wasted a lot of time. Why did the Uniparty do that? But they already screwed themselves. I don't know if they will admit fault and switch.
Do you think that there's any chance Hakeem Jeffries from the left, the Democrats, ends up being Speaker of the House?
Because of the Uniparty, it's always a chance.
That scares the shit out of me, by the way.
It doesn't scare me, because this can easily be changed in 2024. So we're talking about just over 365 days.
I don't think our country has 365 days, Casey.
I think we do. I'm an optimist, so I'm.
Yeah, but what will happen with Hakeem Jeffries in there is all of the work that McCarthy did. That he did do some in the beginning. He put people in place.
2 items.
No. I'm talking about people in the positions like Jim Jordan in the judicial, and he can undo all of that as a speaker, can't he?
Undo all of what though? Like
the actual committees. He can strip down the committees, change them, put who he wants on them, and then nothing gets done in terms of the investigations that need to get done before the next election.
But remember, the power still relies on the people and the House. They can easily change situations and vote on different ways and pass bills to manipulate that and change that.
Yeah, but no
The only reason why
investigations would happen. I think from a PR perspective, I just
the investigations, yes,
they go completely away. They go like they don't even exist. And I think that without at least some of that time being spent looking at Hunter is going to get away scot-free. I mean, right now Hunter is watching this. Like if Hakeem Jeffries gets in, he knows he's going to be set free. So
yeah.
So now bigger picture, we've got stuff going on internationally. We've obviously talked a lot about Israel, Hamas, all of these things. I've made my feeling very clear. We had a great show last night with Rocky. I go back and forth in turn. I mean, I definitely never swing on the side of Palestine and Hamas. I see the suffering. I think Alex Jones actually said it very, very well. I know that you don't love Alex either, but he came out and he was like, anybody that is fully on one side is not understanding what is happening right now. He's like, if you are fully pro-Israel, you should watch I'll send you the clip on Instagram. It's very good. If you're pro-Israel only, or if you're pro-Palestine only, you're not understanding the complexity of the issue. And that's kind of what I said. And I agree. I do believe that you have to lean one side. And I lean very pro-Israel on this because you're literally, Hamas has bragged. And unfortunately, like they keep saying, well, I feel like this is AI. This is AI generated, all this stuff. It's propaganda. Some of it is. But as of right now, there's a big issue that we're not addressing. The fact that the mainstream media is very, very pro-Israel is actually hurting them, which is unfortunate because we've come to such a distaste and distrust of the Fox Newses, of the CNNs, that we don't, if they all are agreeing on something, we can't believe it. So then there's people that are even from the conservative side dissenting and saying, oh man, there must be there must be a wag the dog here. And I think that that's a problem because I do think as a whole, although Israel's government is garbage, I do think the overriding theme of the Israeli people compared to Islam and the Muslim faith, I think it's dangerous to even consider being like, well, maybe Hamas was onto something. And right now we've got a government that is more worried about sending money to both of these countries. If you send money, by the way, to Palestine, it goes to their government.
No.
Casey, who's their government?
We're sending aid, and there's no way this is going to get intercepted. You're using the wrong terms. This is what Joe Biden said. There's no way this will get intercepted. It is going to go to the aid of the people of Palestine.
It is. That's an accurate statement. The aid of the people. No. You're not hearing me. The intercepting is the government. It's who you give it to. You don't need to get it intercepted. It's not like you're giving this to a Muslim church or whatever. You are giving it to Hamas. Hamas is in charge of Palestine. Of Gaza. It's not going to the United Gaza Fund. It's going government to government. So you're giving money to Israel to blow up Hamas or to blow up Gaza. Then you're giving more money to Hamas to give to the people, which they're going to go, should we help the people that we don't help in general and we hate across the board and we threaten them? Yeah, let's help them for the first time ever. No, they're going to use it to fight back against Israel. We are literally generating, just like we did in Ukraine and Russia, we are generating the war with our pocketbooks that we can't even afford to feed hungry veterans in our own country.
You want to know what it reminds me of?
What?
Here in the U.S.?
What?
American Red Cross and FEMA.
Oh, people have heard me talk about Red Cross. When I was working for Nissan back in the day and we had Red Cross as one of our charities, I'm like, Red Cross? You're fucking with me, right? Like the company where the CEO gets $500,000 a year plus extra bonuses and about 38 cents of every dollar actually goes to helping people. We're talking about that Red Cross. Exactly. Right. And honestly, I think giving this to Hamas is even lower than Red Cross.
It's just comical that our government thinks, and honestly, I have to at this point say rightfully so, thinks Americans are so stupid. We don't actually call any of this out. we don't push hard enough against our elected officials to ensure this doesn't happen and to make sure they're representing us. We don't. They are
How do we
doing
actually push though? How do we push? How do you actually do like at this
well,
point, I think we're at such a loss on how to have an effect on our constituents because the voting system I don't think we have a ton of faith in. And then our actual constituents, there's like 13 across the country that are willing to lose an election to do the right thing, but all of them are so beholden to their party.
no, well, that's what I was getting into is we have to give up on party. We have to start voting by people that will represent you.
But
You
they're not
have to
going to
start.
win. I'm blackpilling this situation. We
Yes,
can
you
vote
are.
all we want. Like the people, I just think they're
So
good
you're
because they don't
the
have
truck
they
driver
don't
that won in New Jersey. Was it New Jersey?
the one.
He
Yeah, exactly. The guy that was like the trucker that beat the dickhead incumbent or whatever the hell it was. I agree with you. Like we have to. Um, sorry, who's Kieran? Is that a new hip hop guy that watches?
That's it. That's Hamas for Karen.
It wasn't Karen though. It was Carol. Carol. Sorry, Carol. We use the F word more than we ever had on Rocky and Russo.
No, Nancy. F word is for Nancy.
Nancy. We hate the name Karen so much. I think she's trying to say the Quran. You're right. Sorry,
Quran.
Quran. But no, I just like we say it. We got to get out and vote. We got to. I mean, and the voting cycle's 2 or 4 years, and it's like I don't.
It's 2 years. Unless there's a special election, and there's a lot of special elections. Even Utah's going through special elections in multiple cities for mayors. This November, there's also a representative for House in Congress that we are voting on. Not me, it's not my district, but it's a surrounding area of my house. And so there are ways to be getting engaged. When you talk about local elections, and yeah, I'm beating a dead horse, but it is the lowest participating election out of all of them. Lowest. And it is not just by like 1 or 2%. We're seeing 20% difference between a local election and a presidential election.
I'm surprised
You,
it's not more. I'm
it,
not going.
yeah, it well, and I'm trying to take an average. I got to figure out what the actual average is, but Utah is pretty predominant in voting. We do a pretty good job here, but I know in other states you're seeing 50, maybe even 60% decrease in election.
Well, part of it,
participation.
it's also harder to get dead people to vote in the special elections and the midterms. I think that's part of it. They
But-
only rise from the dead once every 4 years, I believe.
Yeah, and I get that. And that's where it's important that ballot harvesting, where it is legal, you participate in. You help people that can't get to the voting booth. You help them take their ballot. You take their ballot on their behalf to the ballot box. You do not fill it out for them. You take it already filled out by them. And that is where I do believe Joe Biden won in 2020 is because the Democrats were so mad. The people hated Trump so much. They went and told people that probably have never voted before and said, hey, just vote against him and I will go take it and turn it in.
So I just heard something interesting there. So are you in firm belief that that Biden truly won in 2020?
I think I fairly know, but I do believe that he got more votes than Trump. Yes, but not
I think he got
fairly.
more votes from a popular vote, 100%. I do.
Yeah,
I think that's just the way that it works.
Knowing ballot harvesting is not initiated by the Republican Party at all ever. Hopefully 2024 that changes. But yeah, 2020, I think that is why he lost is that, and that enabled, and we do know multiple people were caught, like one person was caught trying to cross the border into Canada with multiple ballots in their vehicle, and there is charges filed, and I haven't looked up if they've gone to court for it yet. Hopefully they have. It's been too many years, but they tried to take them across the border to dispose of them. And multiple people have been caught in scenarios with ballots that are not theirs in their car. They didn't explicitly say whether it was a relative, family member, or a neighbor or whatever, but that is ballot harvesting. That is how you get people to vote, and they don't have to go to the ballot box. I'm sorry to say it, but Americans are lazy. It's going to happen.
Facts.
And so when it comes down to it, Republicans, in my opinion, and conservatives, conservative leaning, because I also will consider myself, which is generally more in the middle, will take the initiative to go to the ballot box all the time. I always do. I don't like mail in ballots. I don't do it. But when we start doing that and we start playing the same game as they do, ballot harvesting, helping people vote, educating and having these conversations instead of cowarding and hiding away and not bringing up politics around people, but also respecting if people disagree with you, helps in these scenarios. Because the left, the far left, you can't help them. There is a lot of people in that middle ground that just need some clarity of information. And you guys sharing real information like this podcast and many other places that actually share real information help get the real data out there that will sway opinions. And that's what needs to be done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I had we talked a little bit about it last night. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers about politics. Again, very scary moment for me, but it came up because
I do it all the time.
What's that? Yeah, it's different. It's different in this. Like and it's funny. He knew my politics because one person that does know that's like I respect Anthony's politics, but we know he has to keep it quiet at work. And we had, I mean, honestly, one of the best conversations, and Kelly was involved with one of the best conversations I've had in a long time. And it's interesting. This gentleman lives in Portland and talked about, he's like, I hate to say this, but like, we're all, including my people, and he's a staunch Democrat. It's like, including we're sick of the tent cities. We're sick of how unsafe Portland is. And I'm like, it's unfortunately, I mean, and he understands, he's like, he's starting to see the need for a balanced government. And trust me, I understand if we had all Republicans and that doesn't make up America. We need a couple bleeding heart liberals to move things to the middle, to not make it. I get that. I understand that. And I think that he was understanding that as well. He's like, from a law and order perspective, he's like, we couldn't live downtown because it was too expensive. It's too dangerous. Like, can you imagine that? It's like, it's too expensive and too dangerous to live in the same place. That's such an ironic statement. And that's literally because of ultra left leadership inside the cities, because that's how they vote. So they moved a little bit further out. And it's like, they didn't want to go too Republican far out, but they found like a middle ground where things were affordable. And it's interesting to have those conversations. And he even says, as a staunch Democrat, that he's starting to, when he does with midterms, not voting all Democrat all the way down. Like, he'll find the people that he believes are Republicans that are mid-ground that fit a little bit his ideals. And I'm like, all right, that's better than nothing. And I think that some of the Democrats are starting to look at that more. And I think that that's important. And you made a statement about the far left, they're helpless. I'm not going to lie. The far right is getting there as well. I think the extremes are, I think they've crossed a plane that we can't get them back from.
I agree. They hear enough from me. That side. Yeah. Far left, that's why I picked them. But I want to pick out this one thing. Danny, I need to know what your solution is then.
I love you, Case, but I feel the same thing at this point.
And what's the solution, dude?
I don't know. And I think it has, I think it's like an addict. I think our country, the analogy that I'll bring up is that our country is at a place almost like a drug addict, where it's like, if we don't hit rock, there's no turning it around until we all collectively hit rock bottom. And I hate that. There was a statement by Bill Maher a few years back that I wanted to reach through the TV and stab him, because he was during the Trump administration and he was praying for a recession so that we could change presidents and all this stuff. And I think he semi regrets that statement, but I almost get it. Like, I'm like, who's this $20 million a year asshole saying, I hope all these people suffer so that we can have a change of leadership? Piss off. At this point, though, I don't think the course of America, the ship I don't think we write the course without hitting rock bottom. And trust me, I'm in no financial position to hit rock bottom. Like, I'm pretty friggin' close. Like, this hasn't been the best few, but I think that there has to be some kind of collective rock bottom for us to hit so that we can bounce back collectively against our government. Because as of right now, the government is so bloated, so full of so much power, that there is no way to get that power out of the hands. And I I don't trust voting enough. And even if I did, I said that I did trust voting enough. I don't trust the politicians that are the ones that we're voting for at the ballot box. I'm black pilling the shit out of this show right now. And I don't know how to properly say what the steps are, except for be good to the people around you. Like the old be the change motto. Like, I don't know what else to do. Keep speaking. I don't know.
Both of those are accurate. Keep speaking, keep being civil, keep being the change. Yes. But Danny, what he is saying, in this post, this comment here, yes, this is an action, but here's where I'm going to throw it back at you, where it's all going to fail. If you are looking at revolutionary action, how are you going to unify when you have 50 states that apply different laws, that some states won't fight against the federal government, but some states will? So when you are represented by the state that you are in, are you comfortable of fighting against the federal government that they won't let cave and let the federal government come and take you and put you in prison, federal prison? Probably not, right? So that means you have to make sure that you are electing local representatives that are opposing federal government and federal overreach in your land to protect you as an American citizen, because the federal government should only be worrying about our borders exterior. Everything inside should be handled within our states. And then if there's a conflict within the states amongst each other, that is when the federal government tries to be the mitigator. But until you start having representation locally, you will never succeed against the federal government, ever.
So I agree with you. Starting locally is the first hope. I think that's the first line of defense. I don't know if it'll work. Is my point. But
I can tell you it works. So look at Phil Lyman he's been on the podcast twice, I think.
Yeah.
Phil Lyman has been pardoned by Donald Trump, and he has faced the federal government twice. Once.
Yeah, but he's not going to get pardoned anymore. Nobody is. No, not with the system we have in place.
He did it with Ammon Bundy in Nevada against the federal government and Harry Reid trying to take the property from the Nevada citizens. And he was there helping fight against the federal government and was in a legitimate gun standoff with the FBI and the government. And then there was also another one about they were trying to establish a national monument here in Utah, and that is when he got charged, and that is where Trump pardoned him. And so when it comes
to we don't have that was with Trump. We are not in a place right now. We don't have anybody in the government on our side, in my opinion.
I know, but you have to have people. The point that I'm making is you have to have people that will back you. And you're here in Utah. I don't believe in my governor. I do believe in Phil Lyman as our governor. I do think he will fight against the federal government because he already has. And that is why I'm an advocate for him in 2024 running as our governor, against our current governor. But that is the point that we have to start doing. And your elections, it's so easy to flip a local election if you can get presidential participation in your local elections. You can change your local community very quickly.
Yeah.
But we all bring up this excuse, and I'm going to call it an excuse, that, what do we believe in? That is a lazy excuse. You say you want to fight for your country, but you're just going to be like, well, I don't know what to do anymore.
I know and I also look at it, and this is the last I'll talk about this subject, and then let's talk a little bit about borders before we talk about the Jews. And I don't mean O.J. Simpson, and I don't mean getting away with murder. And then telling people if I did do it, this is how I would do it.
I need a white Bronco. Where's my white Bronco?
I would dig a new white Bronco. I love Broncos.
Them.
They only get good gas mileage downhill though. The thing is, like, for somebody like me, this is the best, and to me, it's the best I could do is continue to speak and educate. I live in Stephenville, Texas. Like, our politics here are great. Like, there's no beef. Like, everything is fine here. Like, the parents all agree. Like, the school, it's fine. Like, so here, getting super involved locally doesn't mean anything unless I'm starting to go back to Fort Worth, and even Fort Worth is still pretty damn red. So I'd have, like, back where I live. If I still lived in Dallas, I'd be balls deep literally in the city to try to fix things. Granted, now we've got the mayor who's supposedly switching to Republican. So I think things maybe are starting to shift. Texas is one of those places that I don't know. I just noticed my internet signal might be lowering a second. So I'll let you talk, Casey.
You're good. And the thing that's funny, and I'm going to bash it, but it's not because you can't talk. I love how
Oh, I'm
everybody
back. It's
says
fine.
Texas is this great, glorious American leading
It's
state
not.
in
It's
our
not.
country. It's really not. And I brag about this a lot, very heavily. I do believe very strongly Utah is one of the freest states in the union.
I'll agree with that.
There's not many people that can actually bring up any solution that shows that they lead more in Utah other than liquor and cigarette laws.
What do
Those
you
are
think
the
about Oklahoma?
two.
I think Florida, Utah, and Oklahoma are way ahead of Texas at this point.
100%. Texas still doesn't have open carry. Well,
Okay.
not open carry. Constitutional carry.
Oh yeah, you have to have a license, but yeah.
Yeah, Utah, you don't have to have a license. You can constitutionally carry as long as you're not a felon, obviously. Florida just did that not too long ago either. I think they both passed it about the same time. Utah still fights for freedom of speech in a lot of ways. In other states, you don't have that. Um, I will argue a lot of those things, and that is where in my state we have a lot of strength. In Salt Lake City itself, it is more blue, but even the mayor of Salt Lake City was super BLM, super all of that, and she's starting to move over into the middle.
Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah, I wish.
By the way, speaking of that, Casey, I saw a license plate in front of me today that it wasn't on purpose. I'm like, can you imagine if like somebody like us got their state issued license plate and it was BLM? We'd be like, yeah, no, I need to send. It was like BLM 6543, and I'm like, can you imagine if one of us like that would be the ultimate FU karma is to get a license plate that says BLM. So in Utah, is it constitutional concealed carry or can you carry out? What's your opinion?
Constitutional carry.
Do you believe, Casey, in the what is it called? Carry where you can visible carry. What the hell is it
Open
called?
carry. That's
Open carry.
carry.
Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. So it's like we have that in Texas. If we're like, I have a license, so I'm allowed to. I don't know if I would. I feel
You have to
weird.
have a license to open carry?
No, you just have to have a license to carry in general.
Even open carry. So in Utah prior, you used to have a license to conceal carry, but you could open carry without one.
So in Texas, I thought that it's just if you have because it's a castle law state. But from what maybe the law changed. I just know that the law changed recently for it to be an open carry state.
So
If you have your
beginning
license.
September 2021, made it legal in Texas for most people 21 or over to carry a handgun in a holster without a permit.
Really?
Both openly and or concealed. Oh. So it is a constitutional carry as long as you're over 21, and it's a handgun.
So what? So we're
that's
just
not
as
bad.
free as we're just as
Well,
free as
now,
you, bitch.
but we did it before.
But right now we're just my issue
We're
is not
equal
with
in that.
like again the Second Amendment stuff. Like I actually do believe everybody should take a class because most people don't know what the f they're doing with a gun. That's just my.
I encourage it, but I do not want it enforced from.
I get that. I can agree with that. I just know the statistics are when you take a class, you learn the importance of the gun, how to use it, and it just changes the level. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, a gangbanger isn't gonna go take a damn class, and I think that would weed that out. That's just my personal opinion on gun laws. We have a slightly different opinion on that, but I from a Second Amendment from an overall standpoint, the issue with Texas, not Second Amendment, is we have some of the bluest damn cities in a red state. Like Austin.
It's getting worse.
Austin is ultra blue. Dallas is shifted, but I think that it's kind of come a little bit more back to center. San Antonio is actually relatively mid-ground. Houston has shifted to pretty far left as well. And it's like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, that's what happens when you have major metropolitan cities. That is why, and this is probably one of the first times you guys have ever heard me say a 15-minute city because I hate promoting that garbage. Because it is kind of putting everybody in a group and then everybody starts having the like mind and it's easier to control you. Not the 15-minute cities to shut down cars, all of that stuff. That won't happen. that takes a lot longer, and I don't see people being
Or a
able.
massive fire like in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's when it comes to well,
What happened to Hawaii, by the way? Anyways,
oh, we don't know. We sent all of our money overseas, so we
just
can't
like
fund
the
them.
57 people that were killed in Vegas that we never talk about ever again.
Yeah. Why ask questions, Russo? We're not supposed to do that.
Why ask why? Bud Dry. We got 15 minutes left. We got one final topic. Before we do, make sure you check out the drartistshow.com. Use BFD at checkout for 10% off. That's where you can get a whole bunch. He now has stuff to get rid of spike proteins. We've got another affiliate with another company as well. We did a show with one of their doctors, but regardless, the Dr. Artist Show, been with us the longest. BFD at checkout, 10% off. We just had last week, bunch of people ordered stuff. I don't know what they ordered, but they ordered stuff. So check that out. That's where also I get my Doc's Viral Defense, vitamin C. I actually was sick after I left Notre Dame last week, and I overloaded on it, got better in a day and a half, maybe 2 days. I did take a little bit of headache medicine, a little pressure right here, gone. Not that one, Century H2O. That's what I drink. This is actually this is what I suggest, by the way. So it's the system, Century H2O. Use Russo for 10% off. It's a $330 system. You get 10% off. It's $300. Goes underneath your sink. I bought a bunch of these Path water bottles. It's good water, but it's an aluminum bottle. It's reusable. And then I just use this to fill my water all day long. And instead of buying one of those super expensive hydro flasks, this is what I use. It's made for it. It even says like refill it so you can put your name on it. This is what I use. Water is great, and I know a lot of you guys have already started to purchase those. Water, one of the biggest things, get rid of, it's not water, plastics, all that stuff. It's great water. It tastes good. It's added magnesium, and it's a little bit, it's got a higher alkalinity. All right, that's it on our sponsors. We talked about that last. If you're coming in the middle of the show or late in the show, I've got this. My book is now officially able for pre-release, but buy it from Barnes & Noble. Here's the deal. Barnes & Noble, go get it there. I'll throw the link in the chat box or in the actual comments. Go get it there. Send me the receipt with $10 on Venmo or Cash App because it doesn't come out till April 2nd. That's when you actually get it. But what I'll do is I'll send you a signed copy. I need to drive people to Barnes & Noble so that they pick it up. I need like 300 to 400 before April 2nd. So if I can get that there, great. And then if you want the book now, send me another $10 and the information to that email address on the bottom, and I will ship you out a signed copy with it. Just let me know who you are and show me the receipts, and I will make sure you do that. And then the Venmo and Cash App is on the bottom. It's all about overcoming failure. Unlock the secret to how failure accelerates your success. Pretty excited. It only took me 3 damn years to finish the book. All right. Oh,
and you said that date right? April
2nd. Yes.
Wow. That's what it takes to become a bestseller?
No, the bestseller is actually Amazon. It takes 20,000 copies in 1 week to be a bestseller.
Okay, that's what
I probably will not be a Wall Street Journal or Forbes bestseller. It takes 20,000 copies in a week. You can pay companies to help you with that. Probably not going to happen. I'm going to work on some funnels, but no, the Amazon bestseller. What I'll need to do is I'm gonna try to do an ebook situation in like a month, which I'll be asking for all of your help again. That one I will do a special at 99 cents for the ebook. And it'll be like for 1 day, but I need everybody to do it at the same hour. So we'll plan it in advance. And if I sell like anywhere from 50 to 100 copies in 1 hour, I will be rated as an Amazon bestseller.
I'll buy 100 copies.
That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing too, but I could use everybody's help. I think it has to be unique. It doesn't have to be unique IP addresses, but unique emails. Anyway,
I'll give everybody $1. Let's do it.
I might even just pay for it. Just everybody.
You're gonna
if I can get 1,000 of them, that'll still look good.
You're gonna pull a Bergman to get on the stage. Is that what it is?
Exactly. Bergman? But by the way, I had them do the matte finish. I like the matte finish of it. It's kind of cool.
Yes.
And I got let's see, Chad Prather actually has the back comment on the back. All right, moving on. Final subject. So I was today years old that I found out that there are still doctors that say things like this. This is from, let's see, the gentleman, I use the term loosely. Where the hell did it go? I sent you the picture, didn't I?
Yeah, you sent it to me. I got multiple.
Oh my goodness. Where'd it go? Oh, sweet Mother Mary. Henry Rosenberg. So Mary Lou Retton, so this is what he posted. Mary Lou Retton refused to purchase health insurance and was an anti-vaxxer. Yet when she got sick, her daughters raised $500,000 for her care. Just remember, you are not Mary Lou Retton. If you get sick, you are on your own. I'm like, that's a pretty morbid thought to think that her not being vaccinated is why she got pneumonia. Like, little weird. And then there was a comment down, and this is where I was like, holy shit, this statement is from 2023, not April of 2021, 2023. Henry Rosenberg, who, by the way, is followed by Dr. Hotep. Shocking. You are free to take your chances, but it doesn't only affect you. Really? The failure of people to get vaccinated means we never had a chance to reach herd immunity, which is why COVID won't go away. And you could infect someone who is immunocompromised, leading to their death. So this is a real doctor in the United States of America that as of, what is today? October what? October 20-something.
24th.
2023 is still telling people. This is why people are like, Anthony, why don't you believe experts? Why don't you? This is somebody still telling people that herd immunity comes with vaccination and that will be what stops this in its tracks. That is a level of ignorance and stupidity that I cannot even breathe to tell people how wrong this is and why people that are doctors and experts that peddle this bullshit, that are bought and paid for by big pharma, that you're going to tell me this is somebody that any human being should listen to for medical advice. Abso-freaking-lutely not.
Hashtag it's okay. Hashtag trust your government.
And the fact, and he's bragging about Peter Hotep today for getting some.
Hotep, are you saying Hotep or Hotez?
Hotez, whatever the fuck his dipshit name is. Pardon. Sorry, Nancy. Like, there's very few people I hate. And I love that we distance ourselves. We forgot all about the fact that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. they challenged him to a debate to just talk about the math and the science behind all this. And it's like, we knew that it could never happen because when you actually question people you can't put him out there against somebody that knows any statistics that are actually put out there by pharma. They will burn. They will lose. The pharma will immediately lose the narrative. They can't afford to have an intellectual debate. You can't afford it. And this is somebody that, I mean, yeah, what's his name? Peter Hotez?
Hotez. Yeah, when it comes to this whole situation, we got to remember your doctor knows your healthcare the most, not your government. If your government and other corporations are starting to push things in your direction and say, you absolutely need this, you should start questioning that. If you're not questioning that, then there's no hope. There really isn't. If you are just going to take everything the government is going to give you and do all of that, quit your job, live off of welfare, the government's going to take care of you. You'll be just fine.
And I'm looking at a retweet from so I don't know if you also know this, but the irony, it's like they're laughing in our face. Professor Peter Hotez, he was at the awards gala. He was awarded the inaugural Anthony Fauci Courage in Leadership Award.
Two people that have no leadership skills at all.
You can't make this stuff up. So first off, there's actually an award for the Dark Angel of Death Award for the year 2023. Like Anthony Fauci just going, I mean, I don't even want to do the impression because I don't think it deserves it at this point. But it's like, this is such a small group of people that are propagating such a massive lie. If you want to take a vaccine, I don't give a shit. But the fact that they are literally still telling people that, and there's people commenting below, which I believe firmly are bots. I don't believe they're real accounts, talking about like, yeah, if people don't get it, they're just cruel. Yeah, if people don't get the vaccination, they're killing people and they're giving COVID. What do you watch? What world are you in? Like, if you have the vaccine, you have the exact same chance of getting COVID as everybody else. They've admitted that. What they're still holding on to is, well, you won't go to the hospital as much, which again, debatable. I firmly disagree. But factually, you will still have the exact same chance, if not greater chance, based on some of the new numbers, of catching it. So stop effing lying. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Stop.
And to be like Ronnie calls us out. It's funny. It's going around my work too. Everybody ends up with COVID, and I haven't got into the conversation to figure out who I work with that is all vaccinated because I've only been here for just over a year. But
Well, Kelly's still never gotten COVID.
I don't think I ever have.
I
I
thought
went
you
and
were
got
sick
tested.
once. I thought you had it once.
I've been sick, but I've been tested twice and it came back negative.
Interesting.
But the one test that I never did, and it was because there wasn't anything, but I was really down for the count, and it was before I even knew you. It was December of 2019. I was really sick that I was out of work for a week, and
Well,
that
you
is
might have
unheard
COVID
of.
then. I think the
That
people that had it early, the one before it was actually a thing.
right,
I've noticed those people have had the longest period of not getting sick from it. So
and
I
I
wonder if
ended up.
you had the one of the more initial strains that was stronger. Maybe, I don't know. This is me
That is
speaking.
possible because one of the earlier strains, the Delta strain, I think is one of them, right? And that strain, one of the symptoms was shingles. I had shingles in January of 2020.
No kidding.
Yes.
That's painful.
It it was it wasn't super bad, but yes, it was really annoying. It was really annoying.
So there's one thing that was not originally on Dr. Artis's website, thedrartisshow.com, is something for the spike proteins. They now have that, something to get the spike proteins out of the system. So just so you know, check that out if you want to. Use BFT at checkout for 10% off. They've got a wide variety of stuff. So you're right, though. Bilberry, dandelion root, all these are things to protect your immune system and all that stuff. And I don't know where I just put that. So anyway, so there's that. There is, I sent Casey another story, and we're going to end with Suzanne Somers, who I was always a huge fan of, which her name is being besmirched right now because of her just being more of open-minded to not thinking you have to buy everything the farmer has to say. While I'm pulling this up that I sent to Casey, do me a huge favor. There's a decent amount of people watching right now. Hit the like, hit the heart, hit the some symbol. If you're on YouTube, you just swipe off to the side of the chat, and you can hit the thumbs up. So hit that like button, do us a favor, because that does help in the people that watch after the show. What did I send you, Case? I sent you a story.
The young athletes that are greater risk for cardiac arrest.
It's like we completely ignore this stuff. It's like we pay no attention. Texas high school student collapses and dies after, this was 3 days ago, and this is in Business Insider, which is a bullshit rag. Texas high school student collapses and dies after winning a cross-country race, the latest in a string of young athletes dying during competition. Is anybody just, why won't they just be like, the student was unvaccinated? They like, if it doesn't cause it, if it's not leading to this quote unquote by a leftist rag string of young athletes dying during competition, if it's unrelated, then let people know it's unrelated. Like, be very clear, but it's not, because most of these kids, 70% of high school students, I believe, are vaccinated, if not more. College students, it's even higher. Most colleges were requiring, I think colleges passed the 90% mark. So this kid, he had no signs of illness before the race. 16-year-old student in Texas dead, collapse. Let's see. Angel Hernandez. This was in Chisholm Trail High School in Fort Worth. He was collapsing during the race. I didn't know why. Finished, still won. Eagle Mountain Saginaw School District. That's actually right next to where Kelly Spa is. Collapsed twice while friends helped carry him to the water station after the race. He collapsed after the race. He was named Athlete of the Week. This is incredibly sad. And the sad part is we're not addressing the gigantic cardiac elephant in the room. I'm not saying 100% this is caused by the vaccine, but why is it that we can't, it's like we have a hush. We can't even talk about it. If I talk, like even our friends like Jay Kennedy would be like, why do you bring this up every time? Why? Because it's happening more than I've never seen this many young people dying.
It's abnormal. It is very abnormal. I'm not a big fan of jumping to anybody that just collapses on athletic fields, because if you go back and look at it, There's a lot of people that have been, and it's usually been prior to COVID, it was energy drinks. That was happening a lot, and especially here in Utah because energy drinks is very against Mormon standards. And so kids go way overboard with it, and they'll have
Well,
like
so
2
is
or 3
only
in a day.
having one significant other. Like you want to have more than that. You gotta, but it's not healthy for everybody.
Hey, it's all right. But yeah, here in Utah, there's got to be more. But energy drinks caused a lot of it. And so that's where quickly I don't jump on all of them. I send you a lot that I end up seeing, but I don't jump on them all because of that. We see, and I even knew of one in my old neighborhood where we lived in West Jordan that he just collapsed and died on the football field after having multiple energy drinks and then went to football practice. And yeah, that's not healthy for you either. And I drink an energy drink, so I just
Well,
don't go overboard with it.
well, but and I get it. And before I go on to the final thing with Suzanne Somers, and we're about to wrap up. I know we're at the hour. Speaking of energy drinks, did you see that Panera is now being sued by a family of a girl? And this is another one where I'm like, I would also like to know her vaccine status as well. Did you see this story about Panera
No,
and Sarah? Excuse me, Sarah Katz. No.
after drinking a dangerous lemonade? What is this from Dickie's Barbecue? And she drank one with toilet cleaner in it?
Panera has a beverage called Charged Lemonade, blamed for Ivy League. I love that we could just Here's the other thing: we could erroneously blame Panera, saying this Charged Lemonade, like this is all we're suspecting. This had to do with her death. She was young. She was 21. She was healthy. Turns out she had a heart condition. They filed a wrongful death suit against Panera Bread, alleging the student passed away after drinking the restaurant chain's highly caffeinated charged lemonade drinks. So they're calling it a dangerous energy drink. You look at the amount of caffeine in it, it's pretty dang high, and it's in like the lemonade section. It says she was diagnosed with a disease called long QT type 1 syndrome at age 5.
Right.
She took daily medication, followed medical advice, abstained from consuming energy drinks. They show the counter in this thing. I'll go ahead and put it up there. It does say charge up. Like, I mean, if you know that you're allergic to energy drinks, maybe read the thing and like read what you're putting in you, whatever. But I do think maybe something like this mix. And also here's the other thing. You're by the teas. The teas are right there too. You know, teas have caffeine. So I just think she wasn't being overly careful. And it's sad. It's incredibly sad. I want to be very, very clear about that. The article is in the link right there, but it's like, is anybody gonna ask? Is anybody gonna ask that maybe the energy drink mixed with the jibbity jab and could it have all played a role? But no, we're automatically just gonna blame Panera for having a drink not placed the way that some girl that knows that she needs to be super careful. It's just this. It's irresponsible not from the girl. I feel bad for her. I'm not going to slam the dead. It's irresponsible from the lawyers. They see dollar signs. They know that this is going to be settled out of court. They're just doing this. They're doing a press tour in order to get money. That's all. And they're going to get it. They're going to get something. I bet. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, that's where I was looking this up. I'm like, okay, so it was a lemonade. Are they saying that they didn't really advertise that it was a caffeinated? No, they did. But their part that they're saying is it was plant-based and clean, but it had 390 milligrams of caffeine in it
for the 30 ounce.
And so, yeah,
one.
for the 30 ounce. Thank you. And that's a significant amount of caffeine.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
That would also imply she drank the whole thing, which I don't think she did.
We don't know.
30 ounces of an energy drink.
Hold on, I didn't even see this.
That doesn't drink that all the time.
I'm going to share my screen because this is from the exact location. And it's like, I'm sorry. I hate to say this, but. All right, here it is.
It's just.
I mean, it says it right there. It's got the exact caffeine. If you're on your phone, it literally says charge, and then it's got how many calories and how many milligrams of caffeine. I don't know how this doesn't just automatically end the lawsuit right here. They're going to say it's because it's positioned next to regular lemonade or whatever. I'm going to go with, I'm sorry. And also I'm going to go with if this girl is so insanely allergic to caffeine, she's going to be more careful, which leads me to believe she's probably had caffeinated beverages before. I'm just going to throw that out there. She's probably had an energy drink or two. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I am curious of her vaccine status. I just want to know. I think it's just fair to say that. And I think the reason that they don't want to do that is they know that as a percentage, it's going to be higher for these cardiac cases in vaccinated people. And they can't afford that.
And that's one of the things that I do believe in. I think we should be able to ask those questions. Now, I don't believe that it should have to be disclosed, but it should. People should be open to talking about it, and we're not. That is what's causing all of this conspiracy theory stuff. Is those don't want to talk about it. Like one that I still am very very opposed to even getting into the argument with is Damar Hamlin because of all the conspiracy theories that went way off the wire saying that he died and it's a double and it's all of these things. Look at it, all of his tattoos. He's playing football. He's got all the same tattoos he had before, like all of the same stuff. He's the same athlete as before. Stop. But when it comes to the situation, we should be able to have a conversation and ask, hey, did you get the vaccine? What's wrong with that?
Right.
And if you deny to answer yes or no, that's okay. Politely respect their privacy. But we should be able to have that conversation.
All right, last thing. Suzanne Somers. I'm going to go to this article right here. Let's see. MedPage Today, which I follow strictly for the fact that I want to know what this is considered a widely used medical page. For doctors use this. This is how they get their information. This is their news, essentially.
Your link is wrong in the chat.
Why is it wrong?
The Barnes and Noble link.
Oh, damn it! I know.
I was like Barnes and Noble. I'm like, oh wait, that's your book.
Oh hey, that's right. That's the right link, but it is. It should be like that. I don't know. That should be it right there.
Is it?
The space is what screwed it up. Can't have the. You needed the space. I don't know. I'll check it later. Here, I'll just do it right here. Copy. I put that in there. The article to MedPage, you don't need to. I'm just going to tell you what it says. But here's the correct thing for the book. All right. Suzanne Somers, who unfortunately passed away last week. Man, was she not a snack bag in the 70s? Let's talk about that. Suzanne Somers' legacy tainted by celebrity medical misinformation. And if you followed her afterwards, she was one of the more outspoken people against vaccines. So that's what they're using against her. And also she did not embrace chemotherapy when she had breast cancer, which I don't fully, you know what? You have the freedom to do that. When it comes to chemo, I'm kind of I'm a holistic guy, but there's a certain point where there is, medical advancements like chemo. Before there was Gwyneth Paltrow or Jenny McCarthy or Dr. Oz, there was Suzanne Somers, who died from complications of breast cancer on October 15th. She pioneered the role of celebrity wellness guru, using her sitcom television fame as a springboard to a second career as they start using these little words, self-professed health and beauty expert. I think the fact that she always had great skin, looked younger than her age, I think that's something to, aspire to. She died from complications of breast cancer. Let's see. She created the template that we see over and over again. This Dr. Caulfield says she sold millions of thigh masters. They're just talking about how she was kind of a snake oil salesman, blah, 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 blah. And then Somers drew criticism for urging women to defy the medical establishment. She revealed she had skipped chemotherapy against the advice of her doctor. She championed potentially risky bioidentical hormones, which she touted more alternative to pharmaceutical treatments for menopause. Somers went on the Oprah Winfrey Show to describe an elaborate daily routine which involved injecting hormones into her vagina and taking 60 pills a day as an effort to remain young looking and sexy. So again, she was a little out. She went pretty dang far, but they go on later on in the article talking about how this is all about the breast cancer. But later on, they talk about her feelings against vaccines and how she was a danger to society. People said if alternative medicine worked, everyone would be using it. So there has to be an excuse for not using it, like a conspiracy. Talking about her being conspiracy theorist, and how she used mass media to misinform people and disinform people. So again, it's just this smear campaign against everything that is anti-pharma. And we forget that pharma is everywhere. They are the biggest lobby in this country. They advertise on every page. They advertise on YouTube. They advertise on mainstream media. So why is the narrative controlled? It's very simple. When you pay for the actual programming that you are on, you get to call the shots. And like I've said on a previous episode, who is looking at pharmaceutical ads on TV and going, oh, I need that? You're not. You're not looking at the latest shot, the latest heart medication. The doctors already know what they're going to do. That's where the marketing to them directly in their offices and their practices and pharmaceutical sales reps, that's who gets that in there. The television is not so people go buy it or go ask their doctor about it. That's so that they own the airwaves.
Sure.
Plain and simple. That's why they're able to control search engines. That's why they can control Google. They pay for the most Google ads. They can make sure to squash stories. They can make sure to do stuff. If you pay enough, you get to silence anything against you. You get to silence your enemies. That's why it's so important to look at articles like this and realize this is just a part of the misinformation campaign that does not allow for free thought against pharmaceutical.
100%. And let's break it down into a little bit more layman's terms. All it is just padding their friends' pockets, right?
Yeah.
And so their friends are running all of the media campaigns, and that's what all of these big billionaires do, is they only support each other, and they'll be able to go through and just pass money back and forth, and to be able to keep that money going around in a circle, so everybody benefits. And we have to stop this corruption from the government and this cooperation between government, corporations, and our country. Our country is more important, and they are supposed to be representing us, and they are not.
Facts on facts on facts. And with that, my internet is slowing down again for some reason. So we're going to go and wrap up the episode. We are done anyways. We're 11 minutes over. I apologize. Remember, on the bottom, you'll see where to go get this copy. Again, pre-release, not available till April 2nd. Go get it now at Barnes & Noble. The link is in the chat. And then send me the receipt with another $10 to pay for shipping. I will get you a copy now. I'll sign it to you and all that good stuff. Maybe leave a little inscription. I don't know. But I'll get that to you in the next couple of weeks. So I have plenty here. So that's how you do it. Help me out. Help me sell some Barnes & Noble copies to a couple people that did it during the show. I appreciate you guys. Final words, Casey?
Don't love your government. Love your people and love thy neighbor.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, please don't.